Makes sense. So now it will automatically navigate to the message page. Now if I click, you can see that we are navigating. Now there are some messages that I added by default. So in the message page, you can see these are some static messages that I added. Text message we have, and normal messages we have, some links is there, and GIF is also there. Zip file is there. So what we'll be doing is that instead of adding this, hey, what's up everyone, I'm Ishmakan and welcome to my YouTube video. So in this video, we are going to move forward with our WhatsApp loan series, and this is part 30. If you haven't watched the part 1 to part 12 yet, then you can watch that right here. So with that being said, let's start this video. So first things first, what we'll be doing, if you haven't yet had the source code, you can get that from the description box, as well as you can see my GitHub branch right here. So you can check the source code out. Branches we have till part 12. So right now what I'll be doing is I'm going to go to the Android Studio, and this is our project. So I have checked out to the part 13th branch. As you can see, current branch is part 13. So what I'll be doing first is I'll start the device. Perfect. So you can see that our app is installed, and now we can move forward here. So what I'll do is I'll log in. What this will do is that it will automatically log in my account. So because I already have an account here, yes, Marken is there. Perfect. Now what we have to do, so in the part 12, what we made is in the contacts we can see. So if I allow, contact is not there. So let me create a new contact. So I'll create a contact person 8 and add a number and save that. Person 8 saved. And now I hit refresh and you can see person 8 is there. Now what we want in this video is that on clicking, we have to check if this person exists in the DB or not. If it does not, we have to show a message. So right now, if I head over to the Firebase console right here, so you can see inside the Firestore users, we only have one user and phone is 9999. So it is yes market, right? So I need to register the user first for this 8%. But first, on clicking, it should show that the person is not having the app installed, right? So what I'll do is I'll head over to our contacts list view. Contacts list view provider. And here we have our list view. This list is there, list view. And on tapping, so here there must be an on tap right here. So you can see here, this we added, check if user exists in the DB or not. So is user exist? And so let me just print exists variable. Contact exists. To check if the user exists or not. Let's hot reload once. Delete everything, hit, and then contact exist is coming as true. So why is that? Because here I'm comparing is user exist based on the UUID of the local DB user. We don't have to do like this. I'll check based on the phone number, and the phone number we'll get from our first dot number. Right. So let's check from here. Perfect. So let me hot reload here, and now I'll click. You can see exist is coming as false. Just to check if this method works or not, I'll enter my own number here to see if that one comes or not. So Okay, so I'll enter this, and now if I click, it should come as true. It's coming as true. That means this method is working just fine. Now what we have to do is that contact exists or not, that we have to check. So here, if it exists, we need to fetch and navigate to the chat screen, right? So here, that part we'll do later. First, let's just show a snack bar. So here, scaffold messenger dot of contact dot show snack bar, and here we'll make a snack bar of the context. So here it is asking for content, so text, and here I say the number is not, the user does not have app installed. Semicolon. I'll add a const, format the code. So now I'm clicking, user does not have our app installed. Makes sense. So user will know that this particular user is not registered with the app. Now what we will be doing is that we will register this 888 user as well, and then try to chat with that. So what I'm going to do is I'll log out. Yes, log out. Okay, so logout does not work right now. So let me just fix that. So here on tapping, what I'll add is local db dot, so local db I'll import set user, right? And I'll set the user as null here. This will delete every data that we have from the box. Okay, so now I will go back here and I'll set it to null. So this will set it as null. I will add a wait, and then we can navigate it. So for the navigation, we have our navigation manager. So I'll navigate to our splash screen, right? So I'll call our navigation manager dot navigate, and route I passed as routes dot splash screen. Makes sense. I'll navigate there and replace true, so it will replace as well. So now I'll just hot reload, right? And now if I try to log out, you can see that I'm logged out and I will be navigating. So I'm navigating directly to this page. So now here I'll say phone number. So already we have the user for 9. Now we'll add 888, right? And I'll add this phone number as the test phone as I'll go to the sign in method inside the phone testing. I'll add another phone here, right? And here verification code will be same 1 2 3 4 5 6. I'll click add here and it is added as well. So now I can just request OTP. So it will just load, verifying, and then I can enter the same OTP, submit. Now it will ask for the user name here. So I will enter person 8 last. Submit, I'll click. So you can see that I have registered here. This name is static, I think, right now. So we'll change that. So if I go to my Firestore, I should be able to see users as 2. So if I go to users, you can see user first is our 999 Yesh Makan, and second one is our person 8 last, and here you can see the phone number as well. Makes sense. So now what I can do is that I can again log out, So I'll click here. I'll click here, yes, log out. So let's just go, and now I log in back to my original phone here, and I'll request the OTP. It will verify. Okay, so I'll enter the OTP here, submit. We are now logged in. So now if I go to the contacts, if I click here, so we are still getting that user does not have our app installed. Number, we don't want that spacing. So if you go here, we want this part, number, that we are storing here, right? So what I'll do is, for simplicity, from this number dot split, and then choose the first one. Makes sense. So now you can see that error message is not there because user exists. Now what we need to do, if user exists, then we need to fetch the user. So here what we will do is we will fetch the user based on the phone number. So we will go to the provider dot manager dot, and here you can see user exists, get user, and let's store this phone number first. String phone, right? So dot then, and then I'll get a user value returned from here. You can see the type as well, it is of user. So we will get a user from here, and now this user will contain the information. So then I can navigate to the message screen. Makes sense. So now it will automatically navigate to the message page. Now if I click, you can see that we are navigating to our screen, message page. Awesome. So makes sense. So here you can see person is coming and null. So let's just head over to our message page, and here what I'm going to do, first search for body. Inside the header section, you can see that we have our profile circle widget column. We have our full name here. So the name, you can see in the Firestore, it is stored as first name is person, and there is no last name here, and there is one name field. So this name is nothing but we are just checking the first name and the last name. What I want is, instead of that, I can just create another key known as name, because we are storing that. So name key. Awesome. So this is the name key, and here from the name key I store the name. I will hot reload, and I will go back. I will click again, and you can see person 8 last. So we can see that person 8 last is coming successfully. Now there are some messages that I added by default. So in the message page, you can see these are some static messages that I added. Text message we have, and normal messages we have, some links is there, and GIF is also there, zip file is there. So what we'll be doing is that instead of adding this here, what I do is, so now if I send anything and hit send, you can see that message is sending successfully, but we are not updating in Firestore. That means if I go back and open this again, you can see that those messages are no longer here. So now we'll focus on that part to show real messages here and send message to person 8 last. Okay, so first what I'll do is here we have our style. So we need to set our text field style to see some messages. So here we have expanded, and then based on that we should be having our text field right here. So here the text field we have, and the style I added as white 38. So now we can see the colors here, but let's make it a bit more bolder, like for example 54, or let's say black. Yeah, black will look fine. And here we'll go with white. Okay, great. So now message also is coming. Now what we have to do first is here inside the message page, what I'll do is we have one get message, and this messages list we have, and it is a list of widgets, right? What I will do is I will delete this messages from here. Now errors we will get. Also, I will go to the provider, and we have our message provider here, right? Here what I'll do is I'll take all of this data, this variables out from here, and I will create a provider. So class message provider extends change notifier from the material.dart, and here I will create these variables. Awesome. I'll add this. I will add our audio provider. I will import our get it. I will import the main menu and the line icons package as well. Awesome. So now inside our message provider, first I'll change here, so state message page. Then what I'll do inside is I'll create my provider that will be message provider, and I'll make it as nullable. Then in the init state I will initialize that, so provider equals to message provider. Makes sense. Okay, after that what we have here is that header section is there, and then messages we have, right? So I'll make separate widgets for these things. Okay, so here you can see inside the views we have our call page, contact page, home page, message page, and inside message page we have our widgets, messages, and these are some widgets. So let's just create one more widget here. So new dart file, and it will be our messages message list view, right? Here what I'll do is I will import material, and create a stateful screen for our message list screen. Perfect. Now I'll copy paste all of the data here inside expanded like that, and I will initialize this message list screen here. Perfect. Now let's check here what are the errors. Okay, so basically this is the error that we are getting. So scrollable position list dot builder, I first add package, scroll controller, and messages, and the messages again. So basically this messages will come from our Firestore. So I'll wrap this with a builder, and I'll make it consumer message provider. it will return context, provider, and a child. Now this provider will have not messages, so provider dot, we have to initialize the manager here. Oh, sorry, not consumer. We will use stream instead. Stream builder. Yeah. Here we have to initialize the stream that will come from the Firestore, right? And then context and data. And then based on this data, messages variable we will make. That we will do in just a moment. But first I'll wrap the stream builder with another builder, consumer for the message provider, right? And here I will get the provider comma child. Now scroll controller we will be getting from our provider only, so provider dot scroll controller, and these messages we will get from our stream builder. Makes sense? Okay, so let's just go back to our message page here. Okay, and here what we can do is we can just go to is recording. So now we have our recording screen. So is recording started, then some size box I'm showing here for width and height 80. Okay. What I'll do is I'll create one widget custom switcher, new widget inside our widgets root folder. So custom switcher, right? And here import material.dart, and it will be of stateless widget custom switcher. And what it will do is that it will take some first is boolean condition it will take, and then it will take a widget child, and then it will take final widget which can be nullable and child 2. Let's say child 2. Add these. Now based on condition child, otherwise child 2 not equals to null, child 2 otherwise size box. Okay. Like that. So this widget now we can use for the switching part. So here custom switcher condition is recording started, and child will be this size box. Perfect. And now I can remove this part. Same thing I'll do for the second part as well. And there is a third part as well. Okay, perfect. So this is right message section, first one switcher. Okay, these switchers I added. Scroll to bottom. So let's use our provider now. So the scroll to bottom will be called in multiple places, as you can see inside message page only. Okay, so provider will be initialized as well. So provider dot scroll controller. Perfect. This messages we will check in later on. And let's just scroll down. So this messages is there. Then here we have a main menu. And if it is document, we are adding to the message. So this logical part will not come here. We have to put it inside our provider only. All right. So now let's just first go back up and expand this one. So this recording started will come from provider. It has a set state here. And yeah. Pasted. GIF selected. Share property to the end. Do that. I'll add all of the logical part inside our provider. Provider dot on GIF click. Notify listeners. Context you will get. Message controller. Message controller is nothing but a text controller. So that also, so provider on field submitted. So provider dot send message. This will send the message for us. Okay. Now let me just go and take all of the logical part, this thing from here. And put it inside our provider. String value you will get. Now here upload to Firestore. Makes sense. And I will also create one variable for final user which will be as nullable, right? And whenever I am initializing, so here initialize inside the his page, I will, after provider dot user is equals to, or better, provider dot set user widget dot user. Here we will set a user. Okay. Or better, let's call it initialize. And user is equals to yeah, so let's say temp user, I'll call this one, and notify listeners. Okay, so initialize will do, and scroll to bottom. Let's just add that as well, and I'll put it on top. Okay, cool. Now send messages upload to Firestore for particular user. We will upload that to Firestore. No need to add in the list. Set state, no need. Once it is done, then we will scroll to bottom. Okay, so that would be it here. All right, then show main bottom sheet. So I'll add context here. Size config, I will add provider.main menus. No need, already we have main menus. So what I'll do is I'll put this one in the main message page only. So let's just scroll down. Right. And the logical part is on tab, I will get from the provider. Provider dot on main menu click. Now how will differentiating? Okay, so menu I'll pass. Okay. On main menu click. We'll call this method. Let's create a variable, a function, and let me just add here the logical part. All right. So we'll be using some of the things. So we have our build context key. This will be asynchronous, right? And yeah, so on main menu click, anything else that I will be getting from there? No. I'll go back. String is not a subtype. Okay, so here I'll pass context as well, and I'll copy this provider, and I'll go and paste these as well top. All right, let's scroll up. So here GIF controller will be coming from our provider. Client will come from there. This will come from there as well. Okay, and on GIF, click send GIF message. Right, perfect. So here what I'll do is provider dot send message. So convert image to message. As we can see here inside our message provider, image to message takes a string and returns back a widget circular message. Okay, so let's do one thing. Here we will get message. Message of type message. Right, this I will fix. So yeah, here this I will fix, and the message we will get, convert image to message. Inside only it will happen. Then send message is GIF. So I'll just take these things or that verb one as well. Then colon send message. This no need. This GIF click will be set to false. Notify listeners. Okay. Let's scroll up. So is GIF selected? Provider dot. Okay, now if I go up, provider controller, GIF toggle. So let's use this one on GIF toggle. Let me rename to on GIF toggle, and I can add that one inside the message page. So here. Does it take context? Yep. So next is here send message basically again. So we'll do the same thing. Provider dot send message. But instead of value, we'll be passing this thing. And this will come from provider. Okay. Now is recording started, will come from provider as well. So I will copy this, I will paste it here. Show main menu, bottom sheet. Yep. So you need to pass context. Okay, and let's just first delete all these dependencies and clear our message page. Awesome. So here send message. For now, let me just type value message model we have, we'll use that one for this. We have to configure that. So now just this error is left. Send message and below send message as well. All right. So here on long press start, what we are doing is that we are adding a message, audio message here, and okay. So here also what we'll do, provider dot send message, but this time it will be of type audio message. So audio message we have to add. I'll just take this part, nothing else, and that's it. And in the send message, okay, perfect. So inside our message page, all of errors are gone except no, here we are left it. So on long press ended, if it is more than 500 messages dot remove last. So I can't remove last like that. So for now, the stop recording part, I'll just comment this out. We'll check it out later when we configure messages for each button, images, file on our Firestore. Then we'll see this part. We need to configure that. So here you can see that send message accepts a message model that we made here. But the problem is this message model does not have any other information except the date time. So how do we make it like that? Right. So first things first, what I will do, let's make it date time as nullable. Let me make it like this, equals to date time dot now. Obviously, I can't use the constructor here in the constant value, so I need to make it a nullable. And what I'll do is date time get message date time date time dot now. Message list view, error is there, message page error we have, and in the message provider we have in it. All right. Now let me just close all other files, message provider and message model. So the message model, let me make it sideways. Yeah. So basically here message we want, so message model should have a value. So let's just add all of these things that a circular message basically has. Circular message, let's just go there, and it has all these things. So I'll copy that and I'll paste it here. I'll add the types. So model document, flutter contract, example package, lat long, wait, okay, and WhatsApp enum. So here message type is from the enums. I'll just add lat long as well. Okay, so these are the values added to the constructor. Let's just copy these. Okay, so here what I will do is I will add this dot for all these, add in the constructor. Okay, date time we don't require. Let me format the code. Yeah, so from friend, let's change that to from user or is incoming message. And that will be required, and message type will be required as well. Awesome. Then what we have to do is I'll create a method here, widget render, import the material dot map. Right, and this factory method, let's just add on top. All right. Now here inside render, we will render this is incoming message, is incoming message, which is incoming message. Right, so every type of message we will add here only inside our message model. Awesome. And there are two errors. Okay. Okay, yeah. So inside constructor. So for now, what I will do is I will create keys here for each of them. So let's just copy that, paste it, static const string key is equals to like that. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll add the date time. Is incoming message I will add here date time key. Data incoming message key and message type. Now we have to parse that message accordingly, right? So here for now, let me just say message type dot text, but we have to parse that, so I'll add a to do here. Parse the enum using switch case. Okay, so also others also we need to add, but for now it's fine. So what we have is circular message. We don't want this anymore. So inside our views message page, this circular message dot dart we don't require anymore, and I'll delete it anyway. Makes sense. Then this messages we have, and these are our data. So here inside our message page, what we are going to do now is message model. Now is it incoming message? No, we are sending the message, so it will be false, and the message type will be text, and the text value we are assigning in our message. So message will have our value, right? So this is our message that we are going to send. Awesome. Let me just copy that. I'll go down. Now this is our microphone audio message. So here we will not be having any message. Message type will be audio. Okay. And yeah. And if it is an audio message, then we will render our audio message. Makes sense. And here, let me just paste that. Okay. And here send message is for the GIF message, right? So it is a GIF message. Yeah. So here message piece, let me just copy it again and I'll paste it. Incoming message is false. Send type is GIF. Okay, so GIF is not there. Image media. So if it is image media, GIF message will render. And here in the message will not come. It will show as GIF URL or bytes. So let's just go to the send message and we can see that here convert image to message we have one function. So what it does is GIF URL it takes. So GIF URL we will also make and I'll just remove this thing. So this GIF URL was coming from, if you go to the send message, GIF's index image original. GIF URL. Awesome. So our message page has no errors now and it's completely done. But some of our other files, let's just go there, like message provider. Now we have the logic to send message, so I'll just delete that. Here Firestore we have to implement. Awesome. Scroll controller, I'll just remove that. Provider, so it will just scroll to bottom. Great. Then what we have to do is this scroll to bottom is used in when we are initializing. So I will delete that and this I will delete as well. And the scroll to bottom, I will take it out from here. When you're sending message, it will not scroll, but when we are getting the messages, that time we will scroll. So inside our message list view, I will add this functionality here. Right. So whenever you are getting the messages, that time you will have the messages length. Message length. That will be required. Right. And provider also we will require, and the provider is nothing but our message provider. Okay, so this message provider will be like this and like that, and this will be our messages length, and it will be of type integer, and this scroll to bottom will be called somewhere around here when we are getting the messages. Now at that time scroll to bottom, and we'll implement that whenever we work on this list view just in a moment. Right. So message provider. So this is done. Next is show UPI apps. So here we have our logical part is this on tap. So what I'll do is I will take this complete thing out and put it inside our message page only. You guessed it. So let me just go down. Yeah, here. So here I will just paste that, and UPI India package I will get, and this show bottom sheet, because I'm using await here, that is where these lines are coming. So what I'll do is I'll use dot then, right? And here we'll get our apps. So now I can minimize this and I can put it inside. Okay, so UPI payment, I will import that as well. Now initiate transaction, and now send message we are doing. So flutter toast I will add. Okay, awesome. Okay, so now this logical part that we have on tap, I'll just take it out, and on provider, so on UPI app selected, right? And here I will create this method and I'll paste all of the logic here. So build context, let's just first add that UPI payment, let me add that as well. I will pass the app, so UPI app, right? And let's just make it with a sync. Okay, and then send message we have to do whenever it's successful. So we will just send the message. Is it incoming message? No, it's not. We are sending that, and the message type will be UPI payment. So we can do UPI message type dot UPI payment. So yeah, awesome. Cool. So what else we have here? So UPI payment and also UPI payment status it requires. So I will just copy that and I will paste that as well. All right. Now this thing is not required, so I will delete all of this data. Flutter toast I will import. Everything just works properly. I'll rename that to UPI payment and remove the underscores in front of it. All right, so now this initiate transaction. So this initiate transaction is part of that. So I will control X and I will scroll down and I will put it inside only because it's a part of that. UPI India, I'll import that. Everything just works. So great. On UPI app selected, now it requires context and a UPI app. So context and apps index will work just fine. And let's just use shorthand version of this. Yeah, perfect. I'll scroll up and I'll remove the UPI payment and Flutter Toast package from message page. Makes sense. Format the code. Now let's go back to the message provider. Here we have on main menu clicked. Let's just do that. And some of the message pages. So these and all are used. These and all, yeah, are used for our main menu clicked. So I'll add the file picker first. So if it is a document, we'll open up the file picker and then we will be getting messages, list of widgets. No, so this result.file. So this convert files to message. Yeah, here I will just copy that. Yes, and basically, so here we are sending multiple messages as well. We can send. So what I'll do is I will just copy paste this logic. So I'll copy this entire thing and I'll delete that. I will scroll down and here you can see I'll just paste that. So these files are nothing but result.file. So I'll create a variable for better understanding. So final files equals to files. Perfect. Now this message model we will use, and it will be a incoming message, and the document model we will use. All right. So now we have our messages. So we don't have to return them. We have to send these messages. So we have to send multiple messages now. So what we have to do, if you scroll up, this is for send one message. So what I will do, send multiple messages. And what it will ask for is list of messages, and it will be messages. Is GIF clicked false? No required, because GIF will not send multiple messages. So here it is not required. So now I'll scroll down, and yeah, right here. And instead of doing like this, I will wrap this complete. Okay, so message.toList, yeah. Otherwise, nothing will happen. To send multiple messages, and this and all, no need. Our files is done. Next is our camera. So let me just import camera. Let me remove the underscore, and message, our message model. Okay, and this will be our message, is incoming message we get, and then send message. Perfect, makes sense. Gallery picker, we'll get some images. I'll remove this condition. Right, I will change this to our messages. So message is incoming message, and then send messages, send multiple messages, and we will send multiple messages. Message list of messages. So here message we have, we don't want it to be asynchronous. Okay, but here we have like a wait we are using. So what I'm going to do is, right, so I have to make a loop for var image in images messages dot add, basically, and I will just control X this part and paste it here. Okay, so yeah, this is not required. Messages dot add this thing. Format the code. So we will add all of the messages, and then we will send those messages. No need. All right, let's just scroll down. So we have audio then. So here we'll be sending multiple messages only. So first I'll remove this thing. Second, list of message. It will be named as messages, and then convert files to message. So convert files to message is the same logic that we implemented for the files. So I will just copy this part from above only, right, and I will paste it here. Result.files, it will just add that and send multiple messages. Makes sense. Then show UPI apps. So if it is a payment, we will show UPI apps. Okay. The issue is the UPI app show is inside our message page screen. So what I will do, because this show UPI app right here. Okay. Then what we can do, message provider is called on main menu click. Okay. And then here when we scroll down, I will just use this on UPI click. Then we have lat long. I have to import lat long. So I'll just scroll up and I will add that package UPI India. So UPI app is unnecessary because okay. So I'll move that then. So object cannot be returned from type. Okay, it's lat long. So first it will return a type of messages. No, not that message only it will return. And convert location to message. We will get this model. So I will just control X that. I will delete this and I will paste this here and name it as our message and wrap it with our send message. Makes perfect sense. And here is incoming message. Format the code. Now put in a page route. Sure. Okay. Contact page. Okay. All right. Remove that. Now we will be getting, so select contact to messages. We will be getting a list of contacts again. So I'll delete that. Now selected contacts not equals to null. Selected contacts dot map. Now else condition not required and return not required. I'll wrap this, send multiple messages. This will be of model, message model, and is incoming response message and add a contact package. All right. So here now we have this convert X files to messages. This function is not called anywhere, so I'll just delete that. Right, and this convert string to message is not called anywhere as well. Let's just delete that. Now this location is only our problem. So let's go to the import the map screen first. Okay, it's done. And yeah, and let me just go. So this lat long 2 package, let's just add that. So I'll open up Arc. Yeah, so let me just copy that, head over to our PubSpec YAML and paste that. Okay. All right. So this langlong 2 supports null safety Dart3 compatible package if it is. So I think it's issue with the version. Let me just remove that. And yeah, now lat long is not giving us the line. Let me ignore that. All right. So our message page and message provider, both screens are done. Now the issue is coming in 2 files. First one is the message list view rendering part, and our second is in the home page. So in the home page, you can see if you scroll down the date time. So here we will use get last message we have now. So message date time for format. Perfect. Makes sense. All right. So message page and this and message list view. Now here we will have to make the stream, right? So let's just go and open up. So now message is no longer required, but we need our Firestore manager. I'll close this message. Perfect. So here we have our get user, we have get user chats and get chat messages that we want, right? So the structure will look something like this. So let me just open up a node. So how the structure will look like in the Firestore collections that we will have will be number one, we will have our rooms. Second, we will have our users. Third, we will have our chats. Right. Room is for audio call, video call, etc. Their rooms we will show. Users is for all of the users that we have inside our application that will come. And chats is basically how many chats we have. So all of the chats will come inside one section. All of the chats, right? So chats is nothing but person A and person B messages. So that is one chat. All right. One more thing we will be having is status. So all of the status will come as well that we will do in our future part of the videos. Right now we have rooms, users and chats. Now inside each user we will have one more collection that will be chats. So this charts will be the user's home page chart. So for example, if I am the user and inside that if charts are there, these charts I will see in my home page, right? So whenever we are sending a message, we need to update that for that particular user's chart as well. For the incoming user and the outgoing user as well, both users charts has to be updated so that it will come on top. All right, so this we have to take care of while sending a message, and this is the chat. So here when we are getting the chat messages, right, so send chat message and get chat messages. So basically what will happen, we have to get it from our chats, right? So that is what we will be getting from our chats, collections dot chats. Then we will have one chat ID. So based on that chat ID, we have to this chat ID we will store inside our users chats, and every chat will have its own chat ID. So if they are clicking and if they're clicking on any chat, this chat ID will be transferred to the message page as well, and that chat ID will be used while getting the chat messages. All right, makes sense. Then inside this chat ID, what we have is, for that chat ID, we will be having a collection of messages. So every chat will have collection messages, and then all of the messages between person A and person B conversation will come. Makes sense. So I'll add collections dot messages, and let me just create a field static const string messages equals to messages collections. All right, so here messages and then order by timestamp. So instead of timestamp, since it is of type message, we have our message model, right? And message model, let me import that. and message model has our datetime key. So based on the datetime, we will get latest first, and then we will get all of the messages. Okay. So, but right now we are getting of type future query snapshot, and we want of type stream query snapshot. So I will just change it to stream query snapshot map string dynamic, and then instead of using get, I will use snapshots, and this will be our messages snapshot. Okay. So I am getting one error saying that, okay, so async we have. I'll just remove that and await. Okay, so await is also no longer needed. So now we have one stream. So this stream I can use here. So I will create one variable for our Firebase manager. Yeah, or better, I'll add inside our provider. Firebase Firestore manager equals to Firestore manager. Awesome. Now this manager we will be used to send message as well as getting the message. So provider dot manager dot get chat messages based on a chat ID. All right, makes sense to me. So this chat ID will come to in just a bit. Now what we will be getting? We will be getting a list, a query snapshot. So here you can see the type of data is query snapshot map string dynamic. So data and dot this docs. Now the type of docs is list of query snapshot. If I go to 0 dot and data, right? So now this is our first message JSON value that we have. Okay, so what I'll do, I will just map it with the docs. Okay, so for the each doc, I will get the data, and this data we will parse based on our message model that we have. So message dot from JSON, makes sense, and then dot to list. What this will return, final docs equals to, let's say like that, and docs dot map is equals to, all right, list of messages. Okay, now if docs is equals to null, if the docs is equals to null, we will return a sized box because there are no messages right now. Else what we will return is this portion of our code. Yeah, awesome. So now we have our messages, but item builder takes messages index, and the render function that we made now will come in handy. So now every message model will change to a widget render using this method. Perfect. And now whenever we are getting the messages, we will scroll to bottom as well, right? So what I will do here is messages length. So messages dot length, and I will put this function in a delay. So future dot delayed duration milliseconds 200, and yeah, I think it's not copied, so I'll just copy it again. Okay, so every time message we are getting after 200 seconds, we'll scroll to bottom. Makes sense. Let's try if that works or not. Okay, now the issue is with the chat ID only. Now, what will be the chat ID and how we are storing the chat ID? So, before that, let's just go to send chat message, because when we are sending a chat message for the first time we will be getting the chat ID, right? Yeah. So, we are getting a doc for the chat ID. So here we'll see chats. So collection, not chats. Now when we are sending a message, we are using a chat ID. So we are generating a chat ID, and then collection messages. So here messages we have to get collections dot messages, and then add the data. Makes sense, right? And here this new message data will be, I'll rename it to our message JSON, and this send chat message I will add inside here. So manager dot send chat message. Okay, message JSON easily we can get message dot to JSON we have to make. Yeah, so first let's just go to the message model, and let me just create to JSON. So map string dynamic, it will return to JSON. Okay. Okay. Now how we are going to store the date time? Now the date time we can't store like in a date time format. So dot to, I'll convert it to ISO 8601 string, because I am parsing it like that only. In the from JSON I am parsing, so that should be an ISO string, and if it is null, okay. Message will be string, no issue. Now BIF bytes will be a uint8 list. It should store without any issue. Audio is of type string. URL is of type string. File is of type documents. So I need to map it. So file dot map. Okay, not map, file. So we have a file type, a byte size. So for uploading a file, basically we have to upload to this Firestore storage first. So Firebase storage, we need to upload that file, and we have to upload a file. So let's just create a JSON. So dot to JSON, and we have to upload the file first, basically, right? So URL and audio, GIF, everything should work. UPI payment. Now this is the model as well, I think. So what I will do, dot to JSON. Yes, contact is also a model. So dot to JSON, and we already have to JSON. Okay, so it's coming from the package, so that should not be a worry at all. And then our lat long, so that is also coming from our package. So I think we should have our dot to JSON as well. So if I go there, we can see our coordinates. And is incoming message is true, false, nothing to worry about. And message type, so that now we have to change. So here what I'll do is this message type is of type enum. So what I'll do is the message type that we have here, this type, we need to format it. We need to parse it from string to message type and message type to string. So instead of that, what I'll do is I'll create an extension for that. So I will create an extension here on the not date time. We will create it on based on our message type, which will be an enum. Message type extension. Okay. And he will say format and parse. Format will return us as a string. Okay, so basically this dot, let's get it from the name, and I'll create another extension and message type parser, and this is on string, and I'll return this message type. We will return and this, right? So based on the string, so now I can use parse now. So data message type e dot toString dot parse. Great. Also, I added datetime is incoming message. So datetime is incoming message and message type, but we have to get the above ones as well. So I'll copy those and I'll paste that. So here, no key, right? These ones will be easy because it is a string. So I can get data and the key. So okay, and these ones from JSON. Okay. This is for the UPI payment fee. Okay, wait a minute. Actually, I'm doing wrong here. Okay, so this is right, but UPI payment. But from JSON, in here we have to pass document dot from JSON data file key. Here we will pass. All right, and then same thing. Contact dot from JSON and then data contact key. Similarly, lat-long dot from JSON data lat-long key. Okay, so now inside document and UPI payment, we need to make from and to JSON. So in our messages, the document model, I will add it here. File name, comma. Perfect. So this is done from JSON and to JSON as well. Now in the UPI payment, I'll just grab it over here. Here also we need as well as the amount as data and dot. So it will return map string dynamic to JSON, and this will return a map. These are all the keys. It will just add a string to it and a comma. So, all right, our UPI payment is done and our message model is also working fine. Inside our message provider, now message.toJSON we can do. Now the only issue is for the chat ID, how we will get the chat ID. So this chat ID we will get, so in the provider, I will create this chat ID message string chat ID. It will be null, and whenever we are initializing, chat ID is equals to chat ID, the temporary chat ID. I'll create one. Now this temporary chat ID is of type string and will be added here. So now this chat ID, it will not be null because in the init state we will be calling our initialize method. Here widget dot chat ID, right? And inside our message list screen also chat ID we will pass as widget dot chat ID. Okay, now let's just go there. Final string chat ID, and here I'll add widget dot chat ID. Perfect. So in the message page, we don't have a chat ID, so I'll add it in the constructor. So final string chat ID. Awesome. But the problem is that we are getting some errors inside our contact page, inside our home page, and from our contact message. And the problem is that the chat ID has to be nullable, because if it is a new user, he doesn't have a chat ID yet because they have not contacted or had a conversation yet. All right. So here in the initialize, what I'll be doing is this chat ID will be nullable. And if it is null, what we will do is we will just return. So here inside the consumer, right here, if provider dot chat ID is equals to null, we will return a size box. That means there is no conversation and no chat ID yet. Once we have the chat ID, we will give it to here. All right. Also inside our message provider, so let's just go to the message provider. The chat ID we are initializing here, but when we are sending the message, it requires a chat ID which cannot be null. So here we need to generate if it is null. So if chat ID is equals to null, then that time we need to generate one from ourselves. Okay, how do we do that? So what we have to do is that we have to generate a random chat ID. So here what I will do is I'll create this function generate random ID. I'll import the math package. So right, and here generate random hex. function we will call, and it, let's say of type 10 length it can be. All right, so chat id will be equals to this random x value and it won't be null. Okay, makes sense to me. So now chat ID will be initialized and notify listeners once the message is sent. All right. So that way chat ID will be initialized. So whenever we are sending a chat message, what it is doing is that it is adding in the root chats, but we are not adding in the particular users like homepage. How do we do that? So here what we have to do is, let's just remove await, right? So collections dot user, what we have to do here is that user doc reference we will get, and then from the chats inside that user we will get that particular chat id, and then we will update. So we will update the data that we have here, right? So we will update that, and what we will show is we will show our chat. Okay, chat dot to JSON. So I will be getting our JSON from here. Now inside our chat model, you can see that we have our from JSON, but to JSON is not there. So I'll quickly make that. So map string dynamic dot to JSON, and it will accept a chat model. So like nothing to accept. We already have the access, right? And here what I will do is, okay, so this to JSON we will call from our Firestore manager to get the JSON. Now, what is this user? So first I'll add a semicolon and format the code. Then here send chat message, I will be getting one user as well. So let me get the user, yeah. Then the chat type dot message. Then the last message we will be getting as, okay, so let's do one thing. I will be getting message only, because we need that. Hundred messages, let's put 0 for now. We have to change that later on so that it will like dynamically change. And message dot to JSON, I'll put it here. Right. So what this thing will do is that in my home page chats, it will update the chat ID with the updated information of the chat. Right. So here in the chat, we have our chat type. We have our last message and unread message. One more thing that I will add is final. I'll add a date time and a date time. Right, and here what I will do is data date time. So if we are getting the from JSON, then we need to parse that. So date time dot parse, and here what I will do is date time dot to ISO string. Perfect. Now, as you can see, inside the send chat message, we will require a chat ID, a message, and a user. So I'll pass all of these things right here. Makes sense. So this user, okay, so it won't be null. All right. So our Firestore manager. So here I will put date time dot now because we are sending the message now only. So we have to show the time as well of the chat. Okay. And here we'll do the same thing that I did for myself. I'll remove the space from here. Yeah. Okay. So here what will happen? User snapshot 2 and user ref. So user snapshot 2 we will use and user ref 2 we have to use. Okay. So basically users and is equals to, now we will be getting user dot uuid, right? We will get that, and based on that particular user we will add this chat for it, and here we will assign local db dot user. All right, so this way it will update the homepage chats for both the users as well as our main table where we have all of the messages. Awesome. Now we have some errors here. Let's just quickly fix those. So here we can see, like, let me just put child at the end, and here we are getting one error saying that whenever you are navigating to the message page, you must have a chat ID. So this chat ID is something, so contact message. So what I'll do is I will pass this chat ID because this contact message will be called from nothing but our message page. So I have to call final string chat ID. Okay, awesome. And now widget dot chat ID. So here inside the home page we are getting one error saying that message page requires a chat ID. So what we will be getting is chat index dot. Now I want to pass a chat ID, so for that I have to store that as well. So final string chat ID, important, right? And I will put the chat ID here as well. So data chat ID and chat ID will be chat. So I have added in the from JSON and to JSON as well. Now if we go and I can pass the chat ID easily. Perfect. I will remove these unwanted imports. Now we can go to the contact page widgets and contact list view. Here we are navigating the message page, and since we are navigating from here, we will not be having our chat ID because it's a new user chat. It can be a new user chat, right? So when we are getting a user, instead of that, we can get chat as well. So when we are getting user, if the user exists, instead of getting user, we should get chat. So what I will do, this get user is called twice, like, okay, contact list view and auth provider. Okay, so what I'll do is I will create get user get chat string chat ID it will require. Okay, so basically what we are doing is that I'm getting the person B user based on the phone, and then if the user exists, then we are only getting the chat. So how we are getting that? If person B has a chat with me, then we are getting the chat, otherwise, and then we are returning both chat and user right here to our contacts list view. So you can see we are getting the chat ID and the user as well. Awesome. If the user is null, that means that the user does not have our app installed yet. Awesome. So now we have our two errors. Let's just go back to our message.dart, and here we are getting one error saying that the chat ID. So contact message. What we'll be having is okay. So message model we have here, and render based on chat ID. And then I will just pass the chat ID here. We'll go to the render, and now I will just pass our widget dot chat ID. That's resolved as well. Last issue is in the chat, and that is the constructor. Okay, all final values has to be initialized. So UUID, I added that. I don't want it. All right, all of our errors are gone, and now we should be able to check if we can send a message and see those message in real time in our chat screen, in our message screen, as well as inside our home page. That message should reflect. So let me just open up my emulator. I'll remove this second window. I'll open up my emulator right here, and let me just minimize it a bit, and let's run that. Awesome. So now it is running. So I'll minimize it here. You can see the logs right here.